I'm Aaron with Seattle Piano Company, and this is our 1988 Yamaha C3 Grand Piano. The C3, which is now the C3X, is probably Yamaha's most sought-after piano. It's certainly the most sought-after in the store. I stock and sell more of these than any other piano in here. At 6'1", this is a really good size. You're going to get really great tone and projection from the longer strings and larger soundboard, but it's not so big that it's going to overwhelm a room. This C3 is a piano that we brought in from our partners in Hamamatsu City in Japan. They specialize in doing really high-end refurbishing and restoration of Yamaha and Kawai pianos. When I'm working on a piano here in the store, my standard is really high. I get really hung up and kind of neurotic about some of the finer details. You know, I want it to be as perfect as it can be. These guys have not only met the standard that I have for the stuff I do in the store, but they've really exceeded my expectations. Looking at this thing, I mean, every time I uncrate one of their pianos, I'm always blown away with how nice it is. This is really a no screw, left unturned type of overhaul. So if I had a checklist for all of the services that this piano received when it was being refurbished, this video would probably be an hour long. But just looking at it kind of on a high level, the things that really jump out at me is, first of all, the finish. I mean, the finish on this thing is beautiful. I always try to under-promise and over-deliver when I'm selling pianos, both in town, but also selling out of state. I don't want this thing to go across the country, arrive at someone's house, and then them be underwhelmed because I misrepresented it in some way. But really, objectively looking at this thing, it's beautiful. The finish that they use on these in the factory, it's not a lacquer, it's a stuff called polyester. It's thicker than an automotive finish, and because of that, they're able to wet sand and buff and really just get this thing to look brand new again. So looking at it, there's these really fine swirl marks for when they were, you know, buffing the piano during the refurbish. But those marks, honestly, they're like finer than what I see on brand new pianos. They're almost like, you know, unseeable. You have to kind of know what you're looking for. So just anyway, really beautiful finish. They went through and they polished out all of the brass hardware here. So like the lid hinge and the lock and the pedals, the casters, the name, the logo on the fall board here. All that stuff looks brand new. They did a really beautiful job there. And then looking into what we call the belly of the piano inside, and it looks brand new because a lot of it is. It's been totally restrung, so it's got brand new treble wire, bass strings, tuning pins, pin bushings, even A-graves. It all looks perfect. I mean, and all those parts are really just kind of glistening inside of the piano. It's also a ton of work to do that. I mean, doing like a really nice restring like this and just, you know, just being very accurate, making sure that all the Beckets line up and stuff, it's a big deal. They did a really beautiful job on this. The soundboard is perfect. There's no pressure ridges or cracks or anything like that. I mean, it's pristine. Same for the bridge there. So as far as the belly of the piano goes, I mean, this is about as good as it gets. All this stuff looks beautiful. I mean, this all looks really great, but the other important part of the piano is the action and the condition and performance of it. So we'll take this thing apart a little bit more and check it out. All right, so now that we have the action out, we can take a look at things. A lot of the heavy lifting on this is done for us in Japan while the piano's being worked on. They go through and they level the keyboard and they do the regulation and all of that, but there's always room for improvement with that. And when these come in, I kind of like to take the actions out, go through them once more, kind of get a good sense of the condition of the piano, the touch, and all of that, and really just kind of go through and do like that final bit of refinement, kind of just do those final adjustments to make sure it's really playing to the best of its abilities. So this one's been fully regulated. It feels great. But condition-wise, I mean, that's all very visual. So we can kind of look at this and we can get a sense of, you know, what sort of environment that it's been in throughout its life, how much it's been played and all of that. So when I'm looking at a piano action like this, a lot of times, like a big concern of mine is humidity. I don't want to get a piano that's been in a really humid environment for a long portion of its life. And looking at this, you know, the key sticks and the hammer shanks, all the wooden components of the action and the keyboard here, they're all meant to be like a pretty light tone. As far as the wood is. Looking at this, the wood tone, the color of it is what it's supposed to be. It's still that really light color. If it's ever like in a really humid environment, that wood, it like darkens quite a bit. It gets really brown. Sometimes it gets like really blotchy where like mold may have been at some point. I'm seeing none of that on this piano. This is in really great shape, and that's not something that we can gloss up like we can with the cabinet of the piano, for instance. I can't make that wood, or in Japan they can't make that wood a different tone. It would be pretty obvious. So looking at this, I can tell it's always been in a climate-controlled environment, so in a home with HVAC essentially. So all that stuff looks great. That's a big deal. Another big thing are the hammers. So they went through and they shaped all the hammers, which is something that we do here at the shop also. It just gives you a uniform strike point going all the way through the scale here. Gets that really hard felt from the grooves of the strings out of there and gives us a better tone. So that all looks great, but we want to make sure that there is still felt left on the hammers. The hammers are meant to be serviced and shaped several times within the life of the piano, but sometimes they can get a little thin. Looking at these all look great. There's plenty of life left in these. These haven't been shaped several times, maybe just a couple times. And so I'm kind of gauging that through the tip of the felt here to the wood core of the hammer. These look really great. They went through and they replaced all of the bushings inside of the keyboard, which is really helpful. There's like no side-to-side play in these keys. They all feel really tight. They all feel really nice. Pulling the hammers back, looking at the whip-ins and some of the other components underneath here, the wood tone is the correct color. The felt is the right color. They all look great. Everything's functioning the way that it should as well. The knuckles are another important thing to look at. If there's really deep grooves in the knuckles, you can tell that the piano's been played quite a bit. That doesn't mean that it's not going to still function well, but it is indicative of how much the piano's been played over the years. The grooves that are in the knuckles isn't something that you can really hide or improve all that much, at least without showing some sort of footprint of them being shaped, which doesn't always, anyway. These look great. they don't have any of those visual marks of someone going through and attempting to shape them, which is not really a great idea. This is a very low miles piano. I can tell that it wasn't played a ton. So given its age and its current condition, I mean, this gets an A+ for me. This thing is in really, really great shape. All right, so hopefully that gives you a pretty good idea of the overall condition of this piano. I think it's pretty top notch. I'm sure you also want to hear how this piano sounds. So here in a few seconds, my buddy Lennon is gonna be playing the piano for us. If you have any questions about this one at all, feel free to give me a shout. All my info's on the website, so go ahead and give me a call, text, email, whatever works best for you. This piano is gonna come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty, a matching bench, and a free in-home tuning. I've been sending these all over the country lately. Delivery might be a little bit more affordable than you would think, so feel free to reach out if you want a delivery quote. And I think that's all for this one. Thanks a lot for watching, and maybe we'll talk to you soon.